should be, going here in a minute.
That's fine.
Corner, so we don't have a recording except for this.
Does that count, right? I mean, recording's a recording now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I can do it on my phone if you want.
I can too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How's that? All right. 5:01, we'll call the meeting to order. And stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. That's all right, no problem. We just got started. All right. So we'll start, we'll go into number 3, approval of minutes for March 23rd for our regular meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll second that with some corrections.
Okay,
So Wes's name should be WES Greenlee, if we're gonna shorten it. We have 2 S's on here, so.
where do you,
It's on everywhere where it says clerk of the works,
All of
Wes
them?
Greenlee.
Okay.
There's 1, 2,
Yep,
3,
got it.
4, 5. And then on the last item on public forum, when Frank Everett asked how this was funded, I didn't listen to the recording, but it's not privately funded. It's funded by bonding through the
Yep.
town of Griswold. So I don't know if that needs to be changed.
Okay.
Was it said differently? Was it said privately funded?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. I mean, obviously, it's not.
No, it's not privately.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second with corrections. All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Okay. That's. All right, we'll move on to number 4, reports, clerk of the works. Wes, want to give a quick update?
Just went through where they are right now. Topsoil has been removed, stockpile is been removed from the field surface that is stocked on the field, and about 90% of it is moved where it's going to be stored. We set up an area for that. That area actually isn't quite large enough, so we're using another alternate site too. But that'll be all off the field, and there's a great deal of it. The old light poles have been separated into pieces, and the contractor will dispose of them. The old fencing is completely removed. The fabric of the fencing is stocked for use by Griswold later, which is what I think you wanted with that. And all the poles, the top poles have been, or at least 90% have been placed into the town's dumpster, or the town to dispose of. Subgrade work has begun. The GPS and laser system's been installed. That'll guide the machinery to level the field. And I requested a schedule from Chris for the whole project. Now that they're into it for about 2 weeks, we should get a better feel for exactly where they are. The last part of this project to be done will probably be the surface of the track. And that probably won't happen, I think they said until early August or late July. Yeah. And that's actually to our advantage because they'll be surfacing the track itself with asphalt, and the longer that sits and outgasses, the better surface it will be for the track to adhere to. The next step will look like the project slowed down a little bit. They're going to spend probably 2 to 3 weeks forming the concrete wall around the track on both sides of the track. Right now, it looks like they've done a tremendous amount of work, which they have, but the topsoil and the grading comes fairly quickly. So I will share the schedule with you. I hope next time I have a meeting next Wednesday at 2 o'clock with the contractor on the field. And we'll review everything up to then.
Okay, so you're expecting to have a project plan essentially, like,
Yeah, schedule for
Is it- okay.
when it will be done. We know all the steps, you know, and it's all sequential.
okay,
You can't move till the walls are built, then, everything goes in line.
Mhm.
I would expect, roughly 90 days to have 90% of the project done. It looks like, depends on the weather, depends on right now, they're moving, they've got great equipment, they have very efficient people. So that's where we are right now, in question.
I have a couple of questions. You mentioned the light poles, and last week I think there was discussion about the bulbs that were going to be pulled out and reused. That's still happening, right? That you know?
Yes, our maintenance crew pulled out the ones we want to have. So
Okay.
I said, yep, that's been. all.
Okay, all right, and then also last week they mentioned, I think Glenn, I think you mentioned that for this week, topsoil was expected to be removed, which was done, and then potentially starting on the drainage. Did you say that had been
They
started?
did, they're looking at all the drainage, everything looks good, and then, as they said today to Wes and I, that they're gonna start that track piece, which is gonna take a little bit. At the same time, though, they're also looking at the drainage.
Okay,
Get those things. A lot of, like, as Wes said, is the next few weeks may not look like a lot of work going on, but there's a lot of work going on.
Yeah,
gotcha, okay,
the drainage should come after the curbs are replaced.
okay,
But
Yeah.
they're,
okay. Any other questions?
Great.
No?
Sounds
Good.
great.
Okay. All right, and then the next one's finance. We don't have Eric here. But I do want to, we can discuss the application certificate for payment that Dana put down at everyone's spot. So this is essentially the first request for payment based on the work that's been done to date. Do you have a copy of this, Wes? I have another one up here
Yeah,
if
I
you want
think
it.
we gave him one this morning,
Okay.
this payment, yeah. I think we skipped over first selection too. haven't
I'm sorry, say that again.
we? We skipped over first selection.
Yeah.
I didn't- that's fine. I don't have
Okay,
much to
we'll go
say.
back. That's fine.
So
So-
Wes and I, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Wes and I talked about this morning and he verified that that's the work they've completed thus far.
yeah,
Okay,
is that the bill you have there?
yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
get, I didn't send this to you guys.
I have copies up here.
Absolutely, I'll send it to you.
All right.
Yeah, I looked it all over, no question about it. They're right on schedule. Those are essentially completed each of those tasks.
Okay.
Great, that's excellent.
All right, so. In order to move forward with payment at this point, just wanted everyone have a chance to at least look it over, any questions or concerns or anything with this initial
Did
request
you
for
guys have
payment.
a chance to peek at it?
What was that?
The bill, did you get
The
that
first-
copy from Wes or?
I'll take a copy. I'm sure it's fine.
I'm gonna email you one right now.
You don't have to.
I
This
didn't
is,
even
I'm
look
good.
at it.
It's all right. I do have the continuation sheet, so.
Yes,
Just
and
another
this is
piece,
kind of, yeah, they send it like this,
That's-
so it's a continuous.
Yeah, and then the contiguous sheets on the back with like a, looks like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
running tally.
It's,
Yeah, yeah.
it's nice.
Mhm. Yeah, so I'd like to have a motion to approve this for payment, so Eric can go ahead and move forward with that, but before we get that motion, I just want to be sure that everyone's okay with what was submitted.
I'll make the motion.
All right,
Second,
all right, everybody, anyone in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nope.
Discussion, questions? All right, then we're all set, so we can let Eric know that this is approved for payment. All right, and we'll go back to my mistake, I skipped over 4B, so we can go back to 4B.
Yeah, I was just gonna recommend that we look at this bill, and the other thing that Wes and I had talked about that I thought was interesting, I know that Glenn met with them a little bit about the design on the field. So would you be able to kind of describe to us what that meeting was about and what the design, how the design goes into the field?
So, originally, way back when, the ad hoc committee really did a lot of that work prior to it. The Board of Ed had approved what they should look like.
Right,
So what they did is they sent us some of the actuals again, just to verify, that all the football lines are correct, all the soccer lines are correct, the lacrosse lines are correct. The fact, even down to the point where they're going to put little marks where the soccer goals go, so if you're going in and out real quickly. Also, just verification of all of those things and make sure that you meet all the national high school standards and all those pieces, so that we'll definitely be in compliance on our field and all of those pieces. So it's kind of interesting, the big things are, the black coloring and the white, with the Wolverines and Grizzle and G and all those pieces. But intricate in there, even to the point where they put a mark where the football kickoff line is. All those types of things are gonna be right on there. The field positions, where there's only certain boundaries you can go. One of the interesting things you'll see on the field is blue is in boys lacrosse, that's the national color. But there's an area of boys lacrosse for 10 yards where there is no blue line, because that's where like the middies go and the back, within the rules of the game. So all those things, they are on top of it, and they just send us some stuff just from an athletic standpoint, these all the things correct and what you need. So it's pretty impressive stuff.
Excellent.
That's cool. So this was just like a final check to be
Yeah, it
sure,
was more,
like a
because
QC
right now
type of
they're at
thing.
the point they want to order the field turf.
Yeah.
So everything that was already been sent to them, it was hey, can you guys do a final check to make sure we haven't missed anything?
Cool.
That's great.
So,
And I don't know if everybody remembers from the first reporting on this, but all of that is built into the turf material. It's
Mhm.
not painted on.
Right.
so-
Yeah.
I think that's pretty incredible.
It's actually all built in, so it's not gonna fade and
That's
right.
those pieces.
You don't have to be out there
Yeah,
painting it
it'll be really great.
on a regular basis. Okay, cool. All right, anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right, then we'll move on to 4D. Any other reports? None that I'm aware of. Moving on to 5, old business, update discussion and or possible action on the proposed bill number 698 submitted by Senator Heather Summers. Sean, I know you and Mary Beth had reached out to,
So I've been communicating with her, she had a personal thing go on. She asked me for a 1-page summary of everything. I submitted that, so.
Okay.
I haven't heard from her.
okay, so we'll table this. We'll discuss it again.
Mhm.
At the next, I'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
They also have not, sorry to interrupt you, but they also have not decided to meet. They were supposed to meet tomorrow. They typically meet at the end of the month for the state
Oh, okay,
bond commission.
Yeah.
And they have canceled January, February, and March. So now I guess we'd be looking at the end of April.
okay. All right. Moving on to 6, new business. This will just be a standing agenda item, but discussion possible action on any reported need or request for any change orders at this point. I'm not aware of any at this time. No, okay. All right, move on to 7, any other business that may come before the committee.
So we're gonna keep this cadence, so once a week,
We have it
Right.
scheduled for next week,
okay,
and then next week,
we'll decide at that. point.
yeah, I mean, we could decide at that point. We can have a discussion now, if you want. I don't know, I think weekly, it's a quick moving project
It is,
and it's
yeah.
busy, but I feel like it's kind of already kind of running itself essentially. There's,
Right.
we just really need updates and make sure there's no change orders needed and approval of payments. So we'll meet next week as planned.
Okay,
And
Yeah,
then
that
we
sounds
can decide then if we want to go to every
Maybe
2
two.
weeks or
Maybe two.
13. Okay,
it's running so smoothly that,
Yeah.
We've been updating the website. To go
Mhm.
on there and see pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
All right. Any other business that may come before the committee?
I have a question. I'm not sure, but at this point, there's probably a need, and I'm sure Wes and administration is on top of it, but at some point, should we require or request somebody from Field Turf or the company that's there now to come to a meeting to address where they're heading, any problems they foresee or where they're going?
We could do that. I think Wes, you would probably know that before. Would you know if there are any issues or anything that are coming up, or Glenn, I know you guys are meeting with them on a regular basis and in touch with
That's a
them.
bad idea, but I think maybe we get into a project just a little further.
Yeah,
Okay,
There's always issues.
yeah, of course, any project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm certainly fine with that. I think it wouldn't hurt to have them come in and talk about what's going on and what the status is and any
Right.
potential issues.
I would say it's a way for this committee to stay on top of what's going on, otherwise we're just reading. And
Yeah, and just getting
reports
updated.
coming in,
Yep.
so it would be nice, as we get deeper into it, to get somebody from one of them companies to come.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that maybe at the next, our meeting next week when we decide how often we're meeting. At that point, maybe we can try to pick a date that's further out, and see if they're available. or give them a couple of options for dates, once we know when we're meeting. Okay,
Have they, one last thing, have they given us like a tentative, completion date yet?
Completion day?
Yeah, no.
No, we discussed it today. I think I said they're putting together a schedule for me.
Gotcha.
The one thing that the last thing will be the surface of the track. We were discussing probably on the 1st of August, the first week of August would be the drop dead date.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
great, yeah.
I think that's what they said,
Yeah,
right?
we said, ideally, we said we'd have to for the fall. I don't think that will ever be an issue.
Okay, great.
I think one of the things we did talk about today is just getting that message out again. The field will go on first.
Right,
And then they'll build a bridge to do all that sort of track. And then we still don't want people down there because the track won't be done.
Mhm.
So keeping people off and kind of closed, and we can send out messages through that way too. And like I said, one of the big things that Wes brought up last week, and they talked about today, is that curing of the track. The thing that when the longer we wait, the better off we're gonna be. So they want to make sure it's
Mhm.
done the correct way.
now when did, go ahead.
well, that'll give us about a solid month anyways, at least, till school opens, right, so. If they do it in August, first week of August or so, right, yeah.
Once that's all, the curing and everything's all done and it's open, will there be any, like requirements for any particular shoes that can be used on the track or anything like that?
So there are some things just in the ECC league that we're in, with all the turf fields, there's some protocols that are sent out to every league school when you visit their schools.
Okay.
So we'll grab some of those things and probably try to make some things for our own too.
Okay.
And we'll get a better understanding too from the counties on what can absolutely not be on there, what can be, but. there
Like
are some
metal
protocols.
cleats and things, probably,
Like,
we
for
don't,
instance,
we wanna have that on.
You use metal spikes on the track.
Okay.
For running, but you shouldn't walk on it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So we can, as we get closer to that, we definitely will address all
Okay,
those things.
and that'll be available to the public, obviously, because they'll need to know what can be
Yeah.
worn and not worn on, okay, all right, good. All right, moving on to 8 public forum. We're all set with that? And then, number 9, motion to adjourn. All right, second,
I'll
second.
all right, adjourn at 5:17.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.